Hello and welcome to day 2 of our Little by Little May Art Challenge. I'm starting off by taping off a border and I'm using the washi tape roll to just press the tape firmer into the paper, hoping that we don't get seepage underneath because nobody likes that. And I am taking a clean brush with water on it and wetting the paper maybe about a third of the way down because we're going to do our sky and it's going to be wet on wet. And I'm going to come in with my sky blue from Paul Rubens set that I have. And I am choosing some pretty bright colors for my sky today, but you can do whatever you want. If you want just one color and maybe do a slow gradient, that would be great. Now, as I bring in my madder red, you might really be wondering, lady, what in the world are you thinking with these colors? And that's a valid question because they look pretty horrible right now. But we're letting them blend together, and I'm going to come in with some Indian yellow at the bottom to perhaps further make you question my judgment on color today. I am bringing in a clean brush again right under the yellow with just some water on it, and then I'll start brushing into that Indian yellow with the water. And what that does is it pulls the water down, softens the edge of that yellow a little bit, and just pulls the color down, I should say, into the water. And so it'll be nice and soft, which in hindsight doesn't matter because the mountain ranges are going to be covering it up anyway. All right, blending some more of the sky, keeping in mind that watercolors dry a lot lighter, okay? But here we are, just to mess with you a little bit. I am adding some more bright blue, blending it in with the red, and pretty soon I'm going to let this go and just completely dry, and we'll see where we are. And when I say I'm going to let it dry, I mean I'm going to use my heat gun because I have a job and I do not have time. Okay, so time to start painting in our mountains. And I am using Payne's Gray here. I will be doing 3 mountain ranges all in Payne's Gray. We're going to start from lightest to darkest, and the way you do that is just add more water. So this is going to be the most diluted form of the Payne's Gray for our furthest away mountain range. And I kind of mess with the bottom here pretty unnecessarily because it's going to be covered by the next mountain range. But I'm doing the same thing I did up in the sky, which is bringing water underneath it and then just touching into it to soften that bottom part of the mountain. Again, you can just skip that step. It's unnecessary. And now we're going to bring in our second mountain range, still with Payne's Gray. We've just got less water and more pigment on our brush. And I'm not looking at a reference photo. You just paint them in as you would like. And we're going to fill this one in as well. Now, back to the sky being the way it is. My goal for this sky was have it be like one of those sunsets where you just look in the sky and gasp and just be in awe. And then everybody takes pictures and posts them on social media. You know the ones I'm talking about. All right. Again, with this one, I am spending too much time on trying to make it crisp because we're going to just do one more mountain range that's going to cover that up. But that's okay. But I was experimenting. So, not learning from the first one, I went ahead and put water underneath, and I'm coming up to soften that mountain range. Another step that you are welcome to skip. But I didn't want to leave it out and then have you, skip that part of the video and then you come back and be like, why is there all that water underneath and why does it look different? Anyway, so I just put them in there. Now, this is completely dry, and so we're coming in with our darkest value of Payne's Gray and painting in our final mountain range for this painting. And this one, I am going to be a little bit more precise with the bottom portion of it because that is where it's going to meet our field of wildflowers. So you can be as accurate or not as you want. I wanted it to be somewhat straight so that it looks nice in the end. But if you saw my first intro video for this challenge in May, you will know that perfection is not what we're going for. So let that completely dry. And now I've got mostly water and a little bit of hooker's green on my brush. And I'm just going to wet this field so that it's going to be ready to receive some color and let it blend and run nicely. And I've got more hooker's green on my brush, less water this time. And I'm just going to try to do varying greens throughout the field, which will look nice. Now for this layer, I let it dry a little bit. It's still damp, but it's not as wet as it was. And now I'm coming in with an even darker value of Hooker's Green and just kind of going to dab it in here and there, varying colors again, because if our field is all one color, it's just going to look flat. So by varying the colors, it's going to look really nice. And I'm coming up right up to the edge of the mountains, trying to not activate that Payne's gray, because then it's just going to run into the grass and we don't want that. So just be careful up there, but don't stress about it because it's all good. And then we'll start moving some of that green down. Oh, my tape is not wanting to stay because of all the heat that I've been using in between layers, but that's okay. So we'll start moving some of the green without adding more color, just moving it down into the field here and there. And you can see it starts adding a lot of dimension and just some more interest, different colors of grass or the leaves of the flowers, whatnot. It just looks nice. Just play with it until it looks nice to you. It's really all a matter of personal preference. Just play and have fun and just stop whenever it's pleasing to your eye. We can all overwork, and I'm trying not to, but just tweaking here and there until I like what I see, and then letting that completely dry. I've just got a scrap piece of watercolor paper here that I'm going to lay over the mountains and sky because I'm going to splatter my flowers. I'm starting with madder red. I'm going to splatter all of my flowers today. If you think painting a bunch of tiny little flowers is fun, I want you to do that. That does not sound like fun to me. All right, I'm zooming in here. I'm not sure if you can tell on the screen, but the red is all dry and it just dried lighter than I wanted it to, kind of faded. And so I'm just coming in with madder red on my brush and I'm just going to tap into most of those little splatters, just making them a little more vibrant and leaving some of them more of the faded red that dried just for some variation in there. But yeah, and you can add as many dots as you want. And if you're not comfortable splattering, you can just do this from the get-go. All right, that is completely dry now, so we will bring in our watercolor scrap piece of paper again. And I have got cadmium yellow medium on my brush, and I'm splattering that in. I'm going to zoom in. Do you see them? And now you don't, because they dried so lightly. But I wanted to just leave that in there to show you it's okay. You just come in and you tweak it. So now I've got Indian yellow on my brush, and I am just going over all of those little dots that you might not be able to see on the screen, but I can see them in person. And I'm just going over those to make them more visible. And then I decided to add a couple dots here and there, even where there wasn't splatter, just to kind of balance the colors out a little bit. You can play with this as much as you want. Now, that's completely dry. I'm coming in with my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White, which I actually just keep in a palette so that I don't waste it. And I'm going to do my final splatter, which is going to be white, and it's going to add a nice pop of contrast. And honestly, I think it's my favorite addition to this painting because it just makes everything pop. I'll zoom in here in a little bit so you can see the difference that the white makes. It just, to me, it makes it more light and fun and summery. I did get a little splatter up in the mountain, but it's okay. We'll just say that's a tall clump of flowers back there. Okay. Now let's see if we have a good border here. I used so much heat that the tape was not wanting to stick anymore. And now I'm struggling with the tape here. This might be like the world's worst reveal of a border, because watch this. Oops, not the smoothest reveal here, but we have a fairly crisp border. I'm not too sad about it. And it's a little crooked, but guess what? We're not going for perfection in this May challenge. We're going for progress. So I have progressed, and there is day 2. We're going to sign this because borders always make me want to sign things. I know everybody tells me you should sign everything you do, and I don't know, I just don't think of it always. So there we have it. I would love to know if you give this a try, and I would also love it if you join us for day 3. Hope to see you then.